So back in the summer of 2021, I painted a huge mural in the middle of Chicago for Titan Wall's Mural Fest. It started as a sketch for another project in Marion, Illinois that was just never used. When it came time to make a sketch for Chicago, I rearranged that concept into a slightly new one that will fit the wall with Thomas on there too. It ended up being one of my favorite murals I had done in a really long time. So when the people who worked inside the building we were painting on commissioned me to paint a canvas to match the wall so they could have a piece to take home with them, I was super stoked. After rearranging the concept a third time to fit a portrait-sized canvas, I got to work inside my studio and let it rip. I was originally just going to shoot a quick video for Instagram and TikTok, shooting vertically and just capturing a basic vid of the process. But I changed my mind a little later. So instead of using a grid or another transfer technique, sometimes I just like to use a tape measure and pick out certain points in my drawing and match it up on the canvas. There's no right or wrong way to do this, and this just fits the bill this time. At this point I started to think that this was gonna be pretty bitchin', so I decided to flip the camera back down and shoot it for my good old firstborn child, YouTube. So here we are. Now, I usually don't paint canvases that often. I'm usually painting walls or drawing digitally or, I don't know, other stuff. But sometimes a canvas hits all the right spots and it can be a really interesting and therapeutic experience. I approached it how I would any other mural on a wall, even used the same paints. I mixed a handful of colors for my palette from the bucket paint that I already had. This makes my workflow super maximized and smooth. Just like if I were to pick up a can of spray paint, I have all the colors in neat little cups ready to dip my brush and layer it up. When I work like this, the process is way more fun and intuitive, and I can really create a dance on the canvas with my brush and some simple, strong strokes. If you know me in real life, you know I love to dance, so it's almost like letting my hand bounce around on the canvas, taking her hand and flowing across the floor. I wanted to try something different with this video and capture a smooth and easy experience for me and for you. You wouldn't believe how much time and effort it takes to craft my regular videos, so I'm experimenting with an easier approach and just letting the art shine by itself this time. Let me know if you're into this. Working in layers is the easiest way to build depth and volume in your paintings. Each layer shows through a tiny bit, even if you paint over the thing completely. There's a history there that creates a sense of a living creature. And it's just easier for my brain to think about it in terms of painting steps and values. Start dark and work your way towards the light. I love combining different aspects of fantasy, nature, and surrealism to make satisfying and electric paintings. I painted these colorful feathers jutting out from the sides as a way to not only anchor the triangular composition, but to show them lifting up and spreading out, almost ready to catch the wind and take off. It's a gentle contrast to the heavily armored cardinals up top guarding it all, wielding their heavy swords, ready at a moment's notice. I like to think that each of us deals with this in ourselves, sorting through the temptation to let the wind carry us and lift off, but the rational, heavy thinking keeping us grounded, but ready to do what it takes to get there. A bird ready to fly. Just have to drop the armor and trust. Now, I've seen these flowerhead characters before in several other artists' iterations. They're cute, and it works. But I wanted to take mine in my own direction. I've been fascinated with these tiki faces a lot lately, and wanted to put that in there to give it some personality and fantasy. Petals of the flower form a butterfly pattern, mirroring those two natural elements of blooming into your full potential. A flower blossoms in the same way a butterfly breaks out of its cocoon to display its incredible wings. And the faces each display either a happy moment or a moment that might not be so happy. Fluctuation between the two is part of being human, and you can't have one without the other. I've drawn lots of line characters in my art, but recently I started giving them long beards and even thought about braiding it like a warrior or a king, ready to lead his people. Even how the red and blue link together creates a sense of bonding and strength. Two sides coming together to make a whole. After adding some little doodads and debris, I stepped back to see how it's feeling. When you're painting something, there's always a feeling you get when you know there's something missing. I felt that this whole thing was floating in front of the background, like they were too separated. I decided that a few background elements would help tie everything together and create a more cohesive canvas. I started with a big circle up top, which slowly expanded outwards to create an energy force. Sometimes you just gotta get loose again and paint over your foreground elements and then just clean it up afterwards. So along with the top, I added some sweeping shapes to the sides to help that triangle motion and balance out the blues and reds on the outside. And once I did that, the final touch I always do is add a little pure white. Less is more in this stage, and strategic placement of the whites will really take this canvas to the next level. I thought that the snout of the lion needed to come forward the most in the piece, so it got the most white. This really helped with the spatial arrangement of all these competing elements and made the lion the main player again. And after all the whites were in place, the final details were just a flick away. So much chunky shapes and colors, bringing in some splatter to break it up and create some texture makes the piece that much more interesting for me. And you know, it's fun too. And once I was satisfied with all the splatter, it was finally finished. And now you can grab this slick design on a new t-shirt. Haven't dropped a new t-shirt in a while and I really love how this is gonna look. It's got a small left front print and a 6-color large print on the back showcasing this brand new painting design on a heather dark navy shirt. Here's a quick little test print, but the final ones are gonna be screen printed nice and big. Pre-orders are up on my website right now at Kiptoe.com and should be ready by mid to late November. Check it out and grab a new Kiptoe shirt. All right, we did it. We finished. I really like how this came out, man. I'm stoked on this for sure. I think those little splatters at the end really added a little fine texture in the end. Like if you can't really see it from far away, but when you get up close, you can really have a little bit more detail and texture to kind of move your eye around. Vibration and atmosphere that I always like to add to my work. That I can't really get that kind of detail on my walls, you know. Huge thanks to Bethany for the awesome commission. I know you guys are gonna love it, and looking forward to seeing it up in your house. Also, I got a merch shop. I got t-shirts, sticker packs, prints, all sorts of cool stuff over there to spark your fancy. Huge shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. Look out for more stuff like this coming up along the way because I'm really pumped to do some more stuff like this. So cheers, guys. See you in the next one.